Up in the mountains, it's lonesome all the time. Soft wind is flowing through the sweet potato vine. Up in the mountains, it's lonesome for a child. Whippoorwills are calling when the sap runs wild. Up in the mountains in the fog, everything's as lazy as an old hound dog. Born in the mountain, lonesome born, raised running ragged through the kookaburras and corn. Never knew my pappy, maybe never should. Think it was a fiddle made of mountain laurel wood. Never had a brother to teach me pretty please. Think she was a whippoorwill, it's getting through the trees. Never had a mother teach me pretty please. Never had a brother a whole pair of pants, but when I start to fiddle, Lord, you got to start to dance. Listen about fiddle kingdom come, kingdom come. Hearing the frogs a chunking, juggle along, juggle along. Hear that lonesome whippoorwill being lonesome in the air. And I'll tell you how I traveled to the Essex County Fair. Now, Essex County has a mighty pretty fair, and all the smarty fiddlers from the south go there. Elbows are flying as they're rosin up the bow for the first prize contest in the Georgia's Fiddlers Show. Old Dan Whelan, with whiskers in his ears, kingpin fiddler for nearly 20 years. And Big Tom Sargent with his blue wild eye. And little Jimmy Weezer, that can make the fiddle cry. All sitting around, spitting high and strutting proud. Listen, little whippoorwill, you better bug your eye. Tune while the judges told the rest. Them that got the mostest claps would win the bestest prize. And everybody waiting for the first twiddly-dee when in comes stumbling old hillbilly me. I bowed right pretty to the judges and the rest. I took a silver dollar from a hole inside my vest. I plunked it on the table and I said, there's my calling card. And any man that licks me, he's got to fiddle hard. Old Dan Wheeler was laughing fit to holler. Jimmy Wheeler says, there's one dead dollar. Big Tom Sargent had this yellow toothy grin, but I just took my little whippoorwill spring underneath my chin and I tuned it till the judges said, begin! Big Tom Sargent was the first in line. He could fiddle all the bugs off a sweet potato vine. He could fiddle down a possum from a mile-high tree. He could fiddle up a wheel from the bottom of the sea. Little Jimmy Weezer was next to play. He could fiddle all night. He could fiddle all day. He could fiddle chills. He could fiddle fever. He could make a fiddle rustle like a lowland river. He could make a fiddle croon like a loving woman. And they clapped like thunder when he finished drumming. Next came the ruck of the bobtail fiddlers, the Lescoeses, and the fair-to-middlers. And they got their claps and they lost their bicker. Then they all settled back for some more corn liquor. The crowd was tired of the no-crowd skeeting. And out in the center stepped old Dan Wheeler. Now he fiddled high and he fiddled low. He fiddled and fiddled with a cherrywood bow. Old Dan Wheeler's got bee honey in his strings. He fiddled a wind by the lonesome moon. He fiddled a most almighty tune. He started fiddling like a ghost. He ended fiddling like a host. He fiddled north. He fiddled south. He fiddled heart right out of your mouth. He fiddled here and he fiddled there and he fiddled salvation everywhere. And when he finished, the crowd cut loose. I sat there wondering, oh, what's the use? Whippoorwill fly home in your nest. But I stood up pert. I took my bow. My fiddle went to my shoulder so. Because there wasn't no crowd could get me phased. But I was alone up where I was raised. Up in the mountains so stillly makes you scared. Where God lies sleeping in his big white beard. I'd heard the sound of the squirrel in the pine. I'd heard the earth breathing through the long night time. I thought, they'd fiddle a rose and they'd fiddle a thorn, but they hadn't fiddled a mountain corn. They'd fiddle sinful, and they'd fiddle moral, but they hadn't fiddled a brushwood laurel. They'd fiddle loud and they'd fiddle still, but they hadn't fiddled a whippoorwill. So I started out the dump diddle dump, old hell broke loose in Georgia. Skunk cabbage growing by the big gum stuff. Whippoorwill, you're singing now. My mother was whippoorwill pert. My father, he was lazy, but my hell broke loose in a new store shirt to fiddle all Georgia crazy. Swing your partners, up and down the middle, up sachet now, listen to that fiddle. Flapjack, flip it on red hot fiddle, and hell broke loose, fire on the mountains, stakes in the grass, Satan there battling on, Lord, let it pass. Go down, Moses, Pope, set my people free, pop goes the weasel through the old Red Sea. Jonah sitting on a hickory bough, and up jumped the whale, and where's your prophet now? Grabbing at the pea pots, possibly the pot, tried to stop the fiddle, but the fiddle's getting hot. Ha! And when I finished, there wasn't a sound. And I looked, and somewhere the dawn was growing. And I thought, I fiddled all night and lost. You good, hillbilly, but you've been bossed. So I went to congratulate old man Dan, but then he put his fiddle into my hand. And then the noise of the crowd began. The Mountain Whippoorwill by Vincent, Benét.